this is certainly a strange surprise. What you're seeing right now is the trailer for a new Netflix film that we've actually known about for a good few months ago. At the very end of last year, I did a whole wrap-up of every upcoming animated movie for 2024, and this one here, at least back then, had one singular image to attach to. It was this strangely creepy My Little Pony adjacent vibe with a very, very creepy 70s man. And now we finally get to see it in motion, and yeah, it basically looks the same. This is Thelma the Unicorn, and upon first impressions, I had no idea what to expect from a movie like this. Being all about a pony that wants to be a unicorn, accidentally ends up looking like a unicorn, and then goes on to having a great musical career success. It's a prompt, certainly. And actually, now that I've seen it with my own eyes, I'm a little bit more on board with it. Yes, the 70s character is very weird and creepy, but that's exactly the point. In fact, actually, there's all sorts of new info surrounding this movie now that could be looking more and more good for it. With this being a production helmed by Netflix, of course, there's all sorts of budgeting going into it, and visually, it looks pretty nice. It does look a little bit different to your standard movie. You know, it's not a completely generic art style, but what I also like as a very simple thing that you can see already is the fact that there's all sorts of inclusions in diversity. There's a character that witnesses the unicorn's first musical experience, and they're in a wheelchair.
I can sing.
Sing for us!
It's a small thing, but it's always nice to see. Keeping along with the very pro-progressive wave of animation, much like Netflix did last time when they restored Nimona. Now, while a story like this might sort of come out of nowhere, and it for sure certainly does, this isn't just an original Netflix movie chucked out. This is once again another adaptation. Much like Nimona, and on the DreamWorks front, they're doing it all the time with The Wild Robot and Orion in the Dark. It's just, it's book adaptation time. And Thelma the Unicorn is a 2-part picture book by the same creator as The Bad Guys. Somehow I didn't bring up that example for the DreamWorks run, but yeah, literally the same creator there. So really, I'm a lot more on board with this than I was initially. Can you blame me? Look at this initial image. So, okay, that threads some things together. Bad Guys creator plus Netflix animation means this is certainly going to be a big swing of a movie to notice. But what's the actual plot line? Well, it kind of explains itself in the trailer alone, although not many people have seen it so far on the official Netflix channel, so I guess I'll be the one to whistle-blow the info for you. Essentially, Thelma the pony wishes to become a unicorn and through sheer accident becomes bombarded with glitter and pink paint to finally become said unicorn. And upon catching the eye of fellow humans on a road trip past the farm, she goes on to show off some talents to finally be successful and famous. It is actually quite ironic in the trailer because the humans literally say, "Do you have any talents?" and then she just starts speaking, so I guess animals talk in this universe and we don't address it, sure. But then from there, it's an idol story. She rises to instant international pop superstar stardom, but there's gonna be conflicts along the way. Whoa. Seemingly being a pretty nice and simple plotline, I think this could come together quite nicely.
We're just getting started.
Thank you for getting halfway through this video. I do appreciate you getting just this far. If you're up for hearing about any more animated movie news and trailers, do subscribe down below if you haven't already, as I can help you keep up with the animated trailers you might have missed. And later in the week, we're doing all sorts of CinemaCon coverage. Anyway, just a quick plug. Tell me how you're feeling about this film down below or on our Discord server. And now, I'll let you get back to the rest of our coverage of Thelma the Unicorn, the trailer.
It's time for the world to see what you really are.
Oh no. Naturally, of course, this movie is also a musical since this is an idol-esque movie. And I'm currently 50-50 on whether I'm actually going to enjoy that. And I'm too uncultured to know whether this is a jukebox musical or actual original songs. You can guess what my preference is. Now, alongside a great initial creator and a decent production company helming it, we have all sorts of other major names coming in to really bolster up this movie as much as they can. The trailer itself says from the creators of Napoleon Dynamite, and that's 100% true as the directors are Jared Hess and Lin Wang, with the former doing Napoleon Dynamite, as well as Nacho Libre, and the latter doing the likes of Unikitty and a single episode of Teen Titans Go, which honestly kind of fits the bill.
I'm a unicorn.
Of course, as per usual, there's a celebrity cast all plastered in there. You know, Zach Galifianakis is in it again, of course. Brittany Howard, all sorts of names, as you can assume. And even Jermaine Clement is one of the characters as well. Naturally leading into presumably more songs that way. Now, alongside notes for the cast and the crew, we've also got some classic marketing quotes, such as the one from Hess describing the message of the film by saying, Thelma feels like an outcast. She doesn't feel comfortable in her own skin. She's got big dreams, but she doesn't think that the world will let her achieve those dreams based on the way that she looks. I think that everybody can relate to that level of insecurity and feeling like they're not good enough. The way we approach that theme in this film is very unique and weird, but it packs a lot of heart. We try to stay true to the themes of Aaron Blabey's book, which is all about how you don't have to pretend to be something you're not in order to be loved and achieve your dreams. Which, as a message for a kid's film, is very good and wholesome. You know, it's not, watch this, stick around.
You're like a fluffy piece of cotton candy with legs.
Honestly, I kind of like them leaning into the weird. It's kind of got that Illumination element where, like, the 70s guy 100% just looks like an Illumination villain, but it's a good bit of fun. Now, the last time I saw a trailer that confused me and got a surprising lack of attention the first time round was actually when I saw the trailer for Mitchells vs. Machines, back when it was called Connected. Back then as well, it was willing to lean into the weird. It had a pug as kind of its mascot for the marketing. And hey, look how that turned out. An absolutely brilliant film. I'm just a little bit more on the fence maybe with this movie. Maybe it's got more advantages than I think. I think I've just been through a lot of too many, troll-like musicals.
Can you do anything magical? Yeah.
And really, I've been saying that this movie looks a little bit ugly in places, like with that weird Illumination villain-looking guy. But actually, to be fair, having looked at the actual book that this movie is based off of, maybe that kind of makes a lot of sense, as the unicorn in the actual books looks incredibly cursed. Like, nobody's had their caffeine intake in the morning. And, like, the donkey as well just has demonic sleep deprivation in their eyes. Is there something to be said about the fact that now that this story has itself gone popular and reached its own level of stardom, suddenly now it's going to be prettied up for a more palatable lens instead of creepy smiles and too much shadow around the eyeballs? Maybe there is something to say there. This movie looks a lot more dolled up, a lot more unicorn than it does pony, and even as a pony, Thelma doesn't look that bad, so, maybe that's some messaging gone wrong, like a classic ugly doll's tale. Still, it was a fun rabbit hole to randomly find. Thelma the Unicorn has wildly different results when you look between news and images.
Ain't nobody want to hear music from a plain old farm pony.
But with a clearly colourful cast with the likes of a donkey knockoff that's seemingly going to be following her the whole time, as well as an alpaca and an evil narwhal called Nikki as their musical rival, this movie has the potential to go in some really interesting directions and being weird the entire time. With a solid message, decent animation, and a premise that surprisingly we haven't gotten before. How have we not got many unicorn movies? This could all wrap around to being a really nice project from Netflix. And considering their track record in the last year really hasn't disappointed me, I'm very excited to see what they do next.
Get out there and find that unicorn's dirty little secret.
And keeping up with the trend of trailers coming out just 1 month before launch, this movie is now set to come out May 17th. So 1 month and 1 day from now. So I guess we'll just have to see how that turns out. That was the weird unicorn trailer that Netflix just dropped. And for now, my name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do let me know your thoughts on Thelma the Unicorn down below in the comments or on our Discord server. I'll get back to my CinemaCon coverage later in the week, and I shall see you in a little bit.